Okay, you guys, I'm about to turn your vocals on so the stream would be able to hear you. Guys, I'm
Okay.
about to turn your vocals on.
Oh, all right. Needed to mute that because I was having an echo there.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. That was my fault.
I mean, the good news is we'll get to find out, you know, just how, you know, if you guys are being picked up. I'm glad to know that I'm now being picked up on the stream. So,
well, I definitely
know that
heard
I'm now
before I
being picked
muted
up
it.
on the stream.
Everyone
So,
well, I definitely
don't think we
heard
are now
before I
being
muted
picked up on
it.
the stream.
Everyone
So,
well, I
We're
definitely
gonna
heard
check it.
before I muted it.
We are. Okay, we're all being picked up.
Okay, that was the important thing. That was the very, very important thing. I don't know why, but the display capture is not working like it was earlier.
Give me 2 minutes, guys. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Oh.
Welcome to Fat Dog Studios. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. Yeah, but
So
for
that's
some
the end of
reason,
the show, right?
yeah, that's just it right there.
Thank you for
Yeah,
joining us. We're done.
man, wasn't that easy? Okay, man, I don't know why it's not capturing any of the displays and stuff now. It's like OBS just
You
went
can
to
have everyone be heard, or you can have your displays, not both.
apparently. Also, we're working on trying to find out why it is that because I'm not the only one that's been saying this, because he's been using Rowan's computer. So now when Rowan streams to her channel, anytime there's a subscriber to the Fat Dog YouTube channel, we hear the Nyanta's Nibbles bit always.
What the fuck?
Even when we're not on that thing. So the good news is we know there's lots more subscribers.
Well, that's good. That's really weird though. Like things are.
I'm streaming on my personal channel on YouTube and Twitch, and I hear sounds like someone could benefit from some of Nyanta's nibbles. Here comes the pot train. Choo choo.
Like I love that fucking blooper, man.
It's
Oh
the best.
Goodness.
So yeah, we used one of the best Nyanta bloopers ever as like our when people subscribe to us on YouTube alert.
Well, it's because like everyone was like, Nyata doesn't have enough bloopers, so we're like, Snake, you got to give us some bloopers, bud.
I
Oh
need
my.
what I need
I
next
need
is we just need
Nyanta.
a happy Nyanta emote, since we've already got EA Min and
You're welcome.
no, like legit. I haven't. Hold on. I wonder if I can show it in here. Hang on. Since I don't actually have to show the display now, I can just.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. I wonder if I can. No, it's not gonna let me. That sucks.
Yeah, you'd have to do that on the server itself.
Well, I have done it on the Fat Dog server, so you guys should be able to see that. Like, it's an emote that's available there. So it's Cody-chan, Menu-sama, and Akatsuki Get Good. I was like, we need more Akatsuki, and like we automatically need Evil Glasses Shiro. That's just a thing that must happen.
Oh, okay, yeah, I see the EA man.
Yeah. Wolf says that they can hear us. Hello, Wolf. Thank you. All right, so just to go ahead and quickly clarify to everyone, let's like legit get started, I guess. Hi, I'm Richie. This little get together is something that I kind of dreamed up as a shower thought, because that's where all great ideas happen, either before you're gonna go to sleep or while you're in the shower, you know. But yeah, this is essentially just getting a group of writers together, and we talk about like some of our writing process. We answer some questions that we've had prepared. We come up with little tips and tricks. We share stories, and it's writers talking with writers, and then at the end we will do a Q&A session for about 15 minutes with the audience. So that's what we're looking forward to. So guys, if you're in the chat right now and you're talking with us and we don't respond to you, I'm sorry, but that's kind of the format that we're doing. If you're used to the streams where we do kind of chat back and forth with you, this is not one of them, at least not till the end. But we will give you guys a heads up on when to start posting your questions. I'll try to do like a minute in advance, because I know there's a delay. And then there's time for typing. So that's the format I'm going to go with. That being said, let's go ahead and jump into the questions.
Oh, we're not going to do
We're not gonna
introductions?
introduce
Yeah, I was gonna
ourselves.
say.
Nah. First
Alright,
question.
we're just
First
done.
question. Who are you and what do you do?
Who are you talking to?
See, I had this whole bit prepared and you guys ruined it.
No. You
Yes.
didn't have it prepared.
I
That's
did too.
why we ruined it.
I had this
You know
whole
what?
bit
Well,
prepared.
you know what? Ladies first. You say you're up.
Wow. Okay, first off, that's mean. Secondly, I don't even know if Yusei is there right now. And thirdly, if he is, the thing is, we all know that this whole stream was put together so we could have pictures of Spider-Man.
Yeah. But yeah, no, he's here. Go ahead, Yusei. Introduce yourself.
Oh, God. You're so mean.
All right. My name is Adastales. I go by Das for short. I co-write and co-direct Fairy Tale Abridgment. I also do My Hero Academia, lots of others. And my most recent writing I've done is I worked on Goblin Slayer Abridged with Grimjack 69, EOD, and Coffin Jockey.
And according to a certain Cody-chan, you killed it
Oh.
in the panel that they did for Now Voice This.
Oh, he's too kind. He's too kind.
He's like, I've never heard you say sound that good. And I'm like, whoa, okay.
That is both a compliment and an insult.
I was like, what?
Backhanded compliment right there, man.
That's a compulsult right there.
It's a compliment. Well, Eva, I guess you'd be next.
Okay. Let me show you how a real showman does it. Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Eva, also known as Latin Fire VA, and I do, writing, comic dubs, voice acting, and currently I am hiatus with all my stuff just because of the winter season, and probably gonna get back into it in January with comic dubs. So yeah, I do things with abridging, not with abridging, original works, things like that.
Mm.
And that's it for me.
Fel, why don't you go next?
Oh, it's me next. All right. Hey guys, I'm Fel. I am the co-director and head writer of Team.exe. I obviously head writer, so that's why I'm a part of this, but I do a bunch of voice acting for some stuff. I'm actually going to be voicing in a few little projects that are being worked on. One of them I'm really excited for is actually a game, but can't go into the details about that quite yet.
Head writer. That's why his
Yes.
That's why his icon is just a head.
Yes,
Yes.
It all
obviously.
makes sense.
Forever. Tony, do you need to introduce yourself to this audience? I mean,
you know what? I might as well. Just, I don't want to feel left out. Frankly, I'm just happy to be involved.
I mean, that's true. It's very true. Considering how often other people are streaming on your channel. Yeah.
So for those of you who do not know, considering how very rarely I actually appear on the streams, my name's Tony. I am the creator of Fat Dog Studios and director of Log Horizon Abridged. I also voice people. And I'm also the other writer and director for the Fairy Tale Abridged that Yusei had mentioned earlier. So yeah, that's what I do. I write and direct stuff. Also, I occasionally get my shitty voice put in things.
Isn't that right, Toya?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough when our voices are so crap, right, guys?
Well, I mean, it's just I assume whenever I am cast as a role,
Speak
it's like,
for
well,
yourself.
it's like, all right, your first, second, third, and fifth choice obviously turned it down, so here I am.
I mean, to be fair, it's not often I get to like stretch myself vocally and do things that are like outside of like the norm of what I do. So that's why I'm like really excited when
Bro, I keep getting douchebags and dude bros.
Well, aren't you gonna be happy with the character I have in mind for you?
Wait, the bane of my existence.
No, because that actually is going to step outside of that douchebagger. Yeah, you get to step.
He meant it unironically.
You get to step outside your wheelhouse for once.
That's fair. That's fun.
Because I can't talk about it because we're live.
Yeah.
But I have ideas and plans already, and literally the next scene is a scene that I'm writing, and I have some ideas for said character. And I want to have, actually I need to have you and Tony in there when I start writing this together. So yeah, it's not writer's block, it's literally, I want to make sure I don't go in this same direction, you know. But yeah, what about flamboyant over the top? How many of those do you get?
I've only done one, and that was I forget his name. It's the clown-looking dude in ReZero.
Okay. Fuck
But
that
it
guy.
wasn't super flamboyant. I just made him flamboyant.
Oh, okay.
it was-
Well, I meant flamboyant as in personality, not flamboyant in like other way, like just over the top kind of person.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
Those are pretty much the only characters I get cast as.
Well, here's the good news. Toya is very much the opposite of that.
Dude,
Yeah, I know, right?
Are you sure we shouldn't have cast you as Rudy, Toya?
the first ever role that I can remember, he was Bora in Fairy Tail episode 1, and he's flamboyant as hell. Yeah. So,
That's
This is
beautiful.
what I get for buying magic from China.
yeah.
Damn it. They're only the second largest economy in the world, Tony. Calm down. All right. So now that we've done that, I'm Richie. I'm the guy that's just here. I don't do anything important on anyone's channel ever. So we're gonna move on to the reason you're all here, which is not me, and we're gonna ask these lovely people some questions and get some hopefully some interesting stories and some tips for anyone that's out there that is trying to get into writing, that is writing and having trouble. You know, this is the best way to describe this. This is a writer show for writers. So anybody who's interested in writing, is trying to get started in writing, has any kind of writing tips or tricks that they are looking for, or is like in a rut, essentially, we hope this is the show for you. Alrighty. So first off, how do you guys start a script? Like specifically, is it dialogue, or is like there a scene that jumps into your head, or recreating a character when you're doing a parody of something? Because generally for me, it's like I'll get a line of dialogue and the scene kind of starts playing in my head from there.
Well, I know everybody's different in how they start their scripts. For me, personally, it's something that first I have to enjoy the series.
Yeah.
If there's no reason, if I'm gonna do it just to do it, it's not gonna be fun for me.
I don't know many people that write a show out of spite. They're like, this fucking sucks. I could do better.
Written out of spite. Hellsing was written out of spite.
Hellsing Ultimate was written out of
Yeah.
spite.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
That's the-
dude, they were like, it can't be a bridge. Taka's like, hold my beer.
Oh, my beer.
Not that far off. But yeah, I mean, you have to.
That is how he
enjoy
earned the
it.
title of Michael McDoesn't exist. Yeah.
God damn it. So yeah, secondly, you have to know what you're talking about, because a lot of these shows do have continuity. You're not just looking at one season, you're looking at long term. You're looking at 3-4 seasons in most series. Like, I know that the series I want to do is going to take about 3-4 years, just because there's 4 seasons of it.
And then you have Log Horizon.
Yeah. But I'm like, I have so many. I know that I'm gonna have to retcon myself in a bunch of things, just because that's how the series goes. So you have to be able to adapt to it or make it your own at
Right.
that point. And then thirdly, you need to be able to do something that you know you can put your time and effort into. If you're just gonna do a one shot, do it. But don't expect to do a one shot and say, huh, this was good maybe 2 years ago. Maybe I should bring it back. You're not actually planning on, sticking with it. Sometimes a one shot can be a one shot and maybe more to come kind of thing.
Maybe just being a one shot is what made it good to begin with.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's people who don't like one-shots because they want to see more. Yeah, well,
go make more then. Go make more on your own then.
Yeah, go make more on your own. A lot of people put time and effort into it, and, you know, maybe a one-shot's all they needed just to get out of the slump that they were in. I mean, everybody's going to be different. It's going to happen, so, I mean, just find your best way to do it.
I have to agree that definitely when I'm writing for something, especially in a bridge, I have to love the series and be willing to destroy it at the same time because of how much I love it. It's especially when I get together with my friends and, well, my fellow writers, which honestly they are my friends and they do so much. I have to say that right now. It's always fun just to bounce ideas like, oh, what if we tried this with this scene? Especially since we have to rewatch maybe the episode 6,000 times.
Yeah.
To make sure we can.
I'm gonna say that's a thing, especially if you're working on working from the sub rather than the dub. Bridgers will pick up Japanese quicker than any other fans because they've rewatched the series so much. Oh my god. I don't need subtitles for Log Horizon ever again.
See, what's interesting is, especially when there's a choice between subbed and dub, especially with the way that some dubs are cut, I always prefer to watch the subs so then we can see nothing has been removed and, oh, we can actually do something with this, is one of the things I've always noticed, especially writing. And sometimes we'll already have the joke in mind, but we just need to make sure that it actually flows correctly. So there will be a joke that we will try out, even like voicing out. And if we find that it doesn't work out as well as we hoped, we kind of just scrap it and then save it for another time.
For me personally, I used to start out with the same process you did, Richie, which is start writing a line and you kind of have an idea where the scene is going, and then you write off that, and then you bounce ideas off a co-writer or someone else, and then you start working on the script. But then once I probably start working with other people, whether it be different teams or being currently on the Schmucks, I started doing something else, and I prefer it way more. I like establishing character outlines, so like making sure that like X character is like quirky but like demanding, or character B or character Y is a straight man but for some reason doesn't talk to anybody shorter than him, right? Something ridiculous, right? That's not something that actually happened, but the scene starts to write itself almost, because you're like, oh, I know how said person would react to this statement, and she goes boom 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 boom, and then after you write your rough draft, you just keep polishing it and then show it to like a person or two, and if they like it, then, you know, move on to the next step. But that's something that I've experimented with over the years, and I've really got to like. So, yeah.
And there's no one way and no right way to write. What works for you works for you.
Yep.
I've got like 4 different ways that I get inspired to write, whether it's a scene or like sometimes it could be a line of dialogue, or, oh my god. Okay, outing myself here. Before there was the term fan fiction, I was writing a Sailor Moon fan fiction, handwritten, 300 and something pages long. And there was a scene toward the end, and what inspired this scene was just a piece of music. The Linkin Park song Crawling, but from the Reanimation remix of Hybrid Theory that had like the strings and everything. It was very operatic. I was like, oh my god, this sounds so epic. And that influenced me to write a scene. So music can do it at times.
Yep. In regards to when it comes to how I start writing a script, or like when something kind of catches my fancy, again with Richie, for me it can be a lot of different things. Prime example, the miniseries that I'm currently working on with Legends with Cody and Doger-kun. The whole reason I even pitched that idea to them was because I heard the song that we're going to be using, the opener, which is "To the Ends of the Earth" by Nate Wants to Battle, and I heard that and I'm like, fuck, this would go really well with this, and it just went from there.
See, that just bring up Nate Wants to Battle. That inspires a time that I was at work and I was in a little bit of a rut, and I listened to, ironically, the Nate Wants to Battle's song. It was his version of one of the fairy tale songs. It's actually going to bug me, but it actually inspired, like, oh, I could do this for a scene, or oh wait, this is actually giving me so many ideas now. That when I rushed home and told the ideas, we were able to write them down. It wasn't for anything major, but it was like a little side project I was working on. But just music has always been one of the greatest ways for myself just to get inspired for scenes and stuff as well.
When we get to the part, because we're not completely there, we're still in the audio editing phase, but we're almost to the point where we're gonna start putting music into scenes for episode 5. Which, by the way, guys, good news, episode 5 is on its last bit of the editing, so we don't have a specific date, but it will be soon. We know soon. But there are certain scenes where I already had like music in my head as I was writing the scene, so I know, you know, what music to tell Calvin, hey, we'd like this here, we'd like that there, you know, and what time and how much and stuff. So music is definitely an influencer, and sometimes you can see it in your writing.
Well,
And then
just like Richie, sorry, just like Richie, I did also do my share of like fanfic writing.
Oh yeah.
I think we all have.
Yeah, I think we've all done that at some point. For me, my first bit of fanfiction was in high school, which Richie's a little bit older than me, so that was probably like a couple of years after college.
I was writing my fanfiction in the military. I was getting teased for writing a Sailor Moon fanfiction in the military.
I was writing it in around 2012, you know, just as Naruto was coming out.
Okay. See,
then
there's a decade. There's a decade in
over
between here. There's a decade in between.
I know. I'm just saying, but that was when like it was at the peak moment.
Mhm.
Like it had just gotten into like
That
different subs
peak
and dubs
Naruto.
and,
Yeah.
like this is when Naruto came out in Spanish. The only show my mom would let me watch in Spanish was Naruto.
How do you say
Only anime-
Kagebunshin no Jutsu in Spanish?
Oh no, it was just we said it in English.
Oh.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, that's
Shadow
the
Clone
cheat.
Jutsu.
Shadow, yeah, it was just a shadow clone.
Also, for people who hate on the dub when it first came out for Naruto and all the believe it stuff, like the believe it stuff died down and the dub got significantly better. Like the dub is good now, guys. Like, don't hate on the dub just because there was like a couple of things that you didn't like or that you found Naruto's voice annoying. Newsflash, in the Japanese version, his voice is also annoying. It's supposed to be.
Yeah. So, and actually, that kind of brings up to another thing on like a specific scene, or not even like a scene, maybe just like a specific joke.
Yep.
And this is something that I've been working on because not Cody. Jeez, I'm fucking up my names all over the place. Yusei and I, we're at a really big turning point in Fairy Tail. You know, we just wrapped up the Loxus takeover arc, and we're starting on the Eurasian Sace, and that introduces just so many new characters, and one of which is going, or two of which rather, are super recurring characters. You know, Wendy and the
Carla.
Thank you, Carla. She's not bored enough. But
Jade Saxton would murder me if I forgot that name.
So Yusei and I, we've always known that we're going to be going deep into the seasons for Fairy Tail, and Wendy specifically Wendy's character has probably gone through more character idea changes than anyone in our scripts. Like. And it wasn't until recently that we kind of nailed down what we want to do with her, and it was because of one specific scene that I pitched to Yusei and a few other people just to kind of get, gauge reaction, and everyone loved it. And it's just one of those things where it's one specific kind of like back and forth can cement how a character is going to go for the rest of the series.
All right. Well, we're gonna have to keep moving forward. So, question 2. What inspires you guys to write?
I think we kind of hit on it, like what inspires
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
Right? I think we kind of all just went on.
We kind of just touched that, and I'm just like, I think we... all right, so who have been your biggest influences?
Well,
then?
hold
We'll
up.
move on to
Actually,
that.
we didn't actually touch on what inspires me to write. Is,
okay.
It's an outlet for everything that annoys me in life. It is my way to get away from everything. Because if I did not have my writing, no shit, I'd probably have gone on a killing spree.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that, because when you go an outlet, all I can think is, what inspires you to write? He puts a fork in an electric socket. And that is where his inspiration comes from. Do not do that. Don't do that, ladies and gentlemen. Don't do that. So who have been your biggest influences, whether it's in the abridged community or outside of the abridged community? For instance, one of my biggest people that I love reading their work, and I got to meet them in person, and they were just as much of a joy, was Timothy Zahn. I grew up reading the Star Wars novels, which I guess are now the EU or whatever, the other universe. But, you know, he wrote the Grand Admiral Thrawn trilogy, which is one of the greatest villains that ever showed up in the Star Wars series, because he didn't have all these crazy force powers. He was just brilliant, and he could freaking outsmart anybody. And it was just really interesting how that dynamic played. And that was one of my biggest influences for, as far as writing, because I grew up with those kind of novels.
Excuse me.
For me, I really only have one inspiration, and I'd love to meet the guy. He's a super cool dude, super funny guy. Everyone has told me great things about him. I would love to meet him. But my biggest inspiration was Purple Eyes WTF, Nick.
Nick, yeah.
He is a good guy.
Man. Even outside of abridging, when he's been brought in to do when he got brought in to do like podcasts or whatever, he would just tell really, really funny stories. The other day, someone was telling me a story about him recording. May I tell it? It's like really short.
Go for it, yeah.
So he was recording for an episode, and I don't know who it was. I don't know what series it was, but they were telling me that he was like recording. He's like, "Hey, real quick, I gotta feed my dog," and they're like, "Yeah, man, just go for it." So he like feeds his dog. His dog's outside. He comes back. He's like, "Oh man, I don't really feel so well." He's like, "Dude, are you okay? Like, we can just postpone it if you want. You don't have to record right now." He's like, "No, I'm gonna do it. And he's like, "All right." And he just vomits all over his keyboard and his mic. He's like, "Oh my god, it's everywhere!" And he's dying laughing. He's like, "Ah!" And like they recorded the whole thing, and it recorded the whole thing. His mic got everything, and they were just dying. And they're like, "Oh my god, I really want to put this in, but like it doesn't seem right."
Just rewrite, quick rewrite.
Oh my god.
But when it comes to the writing aspect, I've always loved.
Just
how
put
he
it
wrote.
somewhere in the background.
Yeah, because he was random, but there was some sense to his madness.
Oh,
And
Nick
I've
is
always-
super
yeah.
random. Yeah.
Yeah. And I've always
He's been
loved him,
on
so.
2 episodes of the Naruto podcast we did, and it was great, because he was just goofy and funny, and like he was wrestling with his brother at one point, and they were yelling at each other back and forth, and we're just like, we're trying to get the actual show going in between, fits of laughter. And then we finally get to the manga dub, and we start getting to the dub of the manga. And this is at the beginning of the 4th Ninja War in the manga. And we get to starting it, and I'm setting everything up. And then all of a sudden, you hear him burst out in his Luffy voice. "Wait, this show is about ninjas? I'm leaving. You can literally hear him walking out of the room.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
And then he comes right back in and does the rest of the manga with us. It was just a lot of fun. I was like, dude, oh my god, why do we not have you for every episode?
Yeah, dude, he's really funny.
Anyone else?
Oh yeah, I just realized I had my mute.
Everybody's doing that coughing thing.
I was like talking, and I failed to realize I'd left my mic muted.
Hey, there you go.
This is gonna sound corny,
Go for
but
it.
actually, two of my biggest influences are the people I do live with. Yomi and Anthony.
Yeah.
Not this
Not-
Anthony.
Not everybody's gonna know who you're talking about. So Yomi and Disaster to clear.
Yomi and Disaster. Yeah.
Yep.
Actually, one of the few first Bridge series I ever watched was Disaster's Fairy Tale Abridged. This was just after binge watching it on Netflix. Like I had just gotten to the Lotz's arc, and I was trying to find out more stuff. Like because I didn't have like access to any third-party sites back then. I didn't know about them. And just started watching videos on YouTube and just came across his, and I was like, huh, this is kind of funny, you know, things like that. And then my best friend, she's also like big on a Bridge series, and she was like, yeah, I've known about these guys for a long time. You should watch this and this and this. And she's the one who actually introduced me to Team 4-Star and things like that. I'm like, huh. It's weird that my best friend didn't tell me about her weeaboo side. It was when we talked about a Bridge series that we found out more about each other.
How dare you not share your weeb with each other?
Oh, no, we shared our weed with each other.
Oh,
It's not the weed.
Oh my god.
But yeah,
It's legal in Canada, people.
Yeah, so like Yomi and Disaster have been two of my closest influences, not to mention Hawk, who's one of my best friends as well. He actually has gone through his process of how he does things, and actually I think that has become the layout of how I do script writing for series now. It's like it's not just sit down, it's think about what you want to do, and then if it doesn't match up, come back to it at a later time, and if you like the joke but it doesn't fit for that episode, you can write it for a later episode. It'll just be like a callback basically, and sometimes that's all you need.
I know for myself that a lot of writing, especially for me, my parents are writers. They did a lot more business stuff. But for me, the writers that definitely inspired me a lot, it's a little tough because obviously I read so many books as kids, and that's actually one reason. God, I cannot.
Words are hard.
Words are so hard right now.
And you call yourself a writer? No.
Apparently so.
Dude, I'm just because we're writers doesn't mean we're eloquent, ladies and gentlemen.
No,
words fail us more than any other group of people.
That's true.
Yeah. But I mean, I read so many books, and just obviously Harry Potter. What else did I read that was interesting? Like all that kind of stuff just accumulated, and I was just like, oh, it's so much fun, like what they do. So I just started writing stuff down, and I just have this huge library behind me as well. So it's always just like, if I need some inspiration, I'll just grab one of my books and read.
I feel like I just already got my answer to question 7.
Nice.
Yeah, Fel probably has. That's what it sounds like.
When it comes to my biggest influence, I still remember to date the very first Abridged series I ever watched, and from there I started working literally the next day. I started working on trying to figure out what I wanted to abridge, and I started abridging the day after Ben HBI 2K released his first episode of Berserk. And it just sort of snowballed from there in regards to abridging. And I mean, it took several years, but it got to the point where now I'm writing also serious stuff, non-abridging related. And for that influence, I'd have to say the authors Jim Butcher, the writer of the Dresden Files, and Kevin Hearn, the writer of the Iron Druid Chronicles, are my biggest influences for when it comes to writing non-abridged content.
And it's gotten us all the way to where we are now, writing Tax Evasion Abridged.
Right.
Yoshi the main character? He better be, or I ain't watching it.
Who?
I said Yoshi better be the main character, or I ain't watching it.
Oh my god.
Please
Of
tell
tax
me
evasion
Yoshi.
abridged?
Have you not seen Yoshi tax evasion meme?
No.
Ah, dang man.
If it was gonna, I was like I'm calling on other stuff. I was like, DMX, freaking Wesley Snipes. I'm just like, Wesley Snipes needs to be the main character. He hasn't had the spotlight in a long time.
or DMX.
Well, no, DMX got the spotlight. DMX got quite a bit of spotlight thanks to Deadpool. He's had the spotlight long enough. You fooled around long enough. Yeah, I'm sorry if it feels like I'm rushing you through these questions, but we've got maybe like another 25 minutes before I gotta start grabbing Q&A or cues from the audience. We're gonna kind of go through these kind of quickly. So I think we kind of covered a bit how often do you write outside of abridging right there. Yeah. There's several people in here that do work for OTP Manga, which I have some good news to throw your way, you say. So awesome. Afterwards, I will hit you up with that, but I can't talk about it too much. And I think we did cover some of that. So we'll go ahead and move on to 5. How do you balance telling a new story while sticking to the original story that you did so well? And this is kind of a thing that's been giving me a little bit of trouble when I'm writing currently for episode 6 is like, okay, I'm sitting here watching these episodes of Log Horizon. And I'm like, I want to, like, what's happening in here is very, very important because it's either something that's been set up that we've already used, or we're setting up something that we're going to use, and all this stuff is very, very important. But how do I tell this in a shorthand fashion, make it fun and interesting, and yet at the same time make sure that it still falls within the personalities that we've already set up in the characters that we've done in our abridged? Like, writing the first episode was fun and easy and new, and now it's more of a challenge because we've kind of got an idea as to what our characters are like, and it's like, how do we reword this and not make it feel like we've changed our character completely?
Well, I mean, if you have a established story for each character, that could make it easier for you. It all depends on how you want to interpret a certain character, like what you guys do with Sarara. I could never say that fucking name.
That's okay. No one, apparently neither can anyone else.
And
that's why we.
That's kind of like the reason.
You're gonna love the end of this episode 5,
how you
man.
Establish the character. It's something that not a lot of people can say the name.
Yeah.
You just add an extra raw to Sarah.
But if you change it and just have someone who just calls her Sarah, it just doesn't work the same way.
Hey, look, that's Sarah. Who's Sarah? That girl. You mean Sarah Raw? Fuck you.
I think it can be difficult depending on the genre. I think genre is really important. For shonen series, and I know that me and Tony have this problem, and we've gotten way better at it. But okay.
My Discord
action scenes.
Discord wasn't registering when I spoke, so I left and came back to fix it.
No worries. I get it depends on the genre. So for shonen, me and Tony used to have this problem earlier. It's hard to write action scenes because you don't want to completely take it out because then it doesn't make any sense. You have to have that for the original stories to make sense. But for something that isn't shonen, for example, like something like that's really easier to do, like a rom-com, like Nisekoi, you don't really have to worry about that because literally nothing happens in the plot. And you just have to be like, how do I make these characters funny?
Yeah, I felt that way when I started rewatching Nisekoi. I was like, man, I have nostalgia for Nisekoi. 3 episodes in, I no longer have nostalgia for Nisekoi.
Yeah. It's 100% that. And like, I'll rewatch Nisekoi from time to time, like clips, and be like, man, I want to like just maybe make fun of the OVAs or whatever. But like at the same time, it's just like, nah. But again, it really just depends on the genre for me personally. Like shonens can be pretty hard, especially if it's heavy action.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it really depends on the context also in terms of like, because like with Log Horizon, for example, like there's that's the type of anime where it's you really can't skip a whole hell of a lot, or it's gonna be a whole different story. Whereas like we'll use Fairy Tail for example, specifically the Galuna Island arc. We decided, you know, because that was when we had a lot of restructuring. Was right after the first episode of the Galuna Island arc. We had some restructuring to do.
What's that thing up in the sky? That's the moon. I'ma punch it.
Yeah, so it's just like, you know, it was one of those things where it's like, okay, so, you know, how do we, you know, we set this all up. How do we continue this? And we were working on this for maybe a week where we were just writer's block, just stonewall. And finally I'm like, fuck it, blow up the island. And he's like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, well, we literally blew up the island as an end joke. Let's fucking run with it. And that ended up being one of our best running gags. And it, you know, sometimes though you turn a weak situation into a strong one and just run with it.
Or an easy cheat is also hire somebody who's really good at improv and just be like, this is your character, this is their personality, go.
Go. Yeah, you.
I wasn't actually making a reference to me.
fucking Jalal. Here's the script. Record the lines. All right, we got your lines. Now have fun.
See, improv has always been like one of the greatest things, especially for writing.
I love
It's
improv.
always-
Yeah, I take improv class.
But okay, so jeez, I totally forgot. What was the question we were on?
How do you balance telling a new story while sticking to the original that you did so well?
See, the thing in my situation is I actually, when I first started doing the writing for the Mega Man Abridged, I actually wasn't the original writers. I actually took over for episode 4 and 5.
Get those feelings, bro.
Oh, God.
Get those feelings. I'm getting flashbacks.
Thanks. Now I have Dr. Wily's castle theme stuck in my head.
Well, that's
Don't
what
make it
happens.
worse, asshole.
But yeah, I mean, when I started taking over the writing, it was definitely a little different since I've. It was interesting, and then just making sure that we still connected to what was originally established. I mean, there are a couple jokes that I honestly am like, I wish I could go back and rewrite this, but you have to take what you get, especially when you take over the writing, and kind of blend it together so then it comes out with such a good product as well. I would say, honestly, episode 5 was one of my favorite episodes to write. There were a couple lines that got cut that I was a little disappointed did. Episode 6 was a joy to write. Editing-wise, it was a nightmare.
I don't know how editing is gonna go, but so far those things are proving correct for Log Horizon as well. Episode 5,
Yeah.
Episode 5 was a lot of fun, and episode 6 is proving to be a joy to write.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but
You say I'll have to give you a peek at that. You get to take a look at the script soon. I want to show that to you and get your thoughts.
You mean me?
No.
Tony will have.
No, you've already seen what I've written.
Okay, but why is Yusei giving him a peek of episode 6?
Because I'm kind to you, say.
Okay, but why is Yusei the one? Okay, you know what? Whatever.
we should probably move on to the next question.
Don't start a fight.
Oh, no, started. I'm gonna record this.
I'm sitting here like, don't start a fight. Meanwhile, Eva's over there, world star.
Take it all back.
Okay, so, all right, here we go. What do you think? Is a writing for writing an original work.
You cut out, Reggie.
Oh,
Yeah, you got it.
what do you think is harder, writing for a parody series or writing for an original work? For me, it's a parody series because you're kind of set as to what you can and can't do in a way.
Your voice just dropped like 2 octaves.
Yeah.
My mic is messed up. It's probably been that way on stream for a while. I can fix it just by hanging up and calling back, but yeah, it drops me octaves for some ungodly reason.
Yeah, no, dude,
What
it's
kind of mic you have? Can I?
It's a Yeti. It's a Yeti. No, my this condition of what's going on with my Yeti mic as it's dying has been dubbed my sexy voice. Apparently,
Dude,
by somebody in the audience.
Smooth, bro.
I was about to say, like,
I've been really
I wish my
trying,
Yeti did that.
baby.
I was like, wow. That was crazy.
Which I don't use a Yeti anymore. Much pretty.
Yeah. I'm gonna be
Sorry.
getting a new one. I'll be getting a new mic and a better mic that is not a Yeti. You know, as soon as that Twitch money comes in.
I'm so
Yeah.
glad someone pointed that out. I thought it was
Yeah.
crazy. I was like, no,
oh, it's
no way.
dude, it's
No.
happened so much.
It's-
now
it's-
I've just learned to ignore it.
I've just thrown my hands in the air. Funny enough, it doesn't affect recording because I've recorded a whole bunch of stuff, and it doesn't affect
Wow.
recording, but it happens on Discord and it happens on live streams.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
it's bizarre.
Yeah. What is this sorcery?
How
man?
about we go back to focusing on the writing and not wasting time
Alright.
talking about mic issues at the moment?
To
That's
answer
fine,
your
that's
question,
fine. All right.
Get over this.
Here, hold on.
So
I will
you said-
save everyone's sanity real quick. Hi, I'm back.
No, it didn't-
No.
Nope.
It didn't
You're
fix
not.
it?
No.
How about now?
no.
No.
Damn it! Okay, fuck it.
All right, but to answer your question, parody work absolutely is the harder of the two.
Yeah, can I just get a
Oh,
one
yeah.
word on this so we can move on?
It's parody.
Yeah, it's parody work because
It's parody.
I gotta go with original on this one.
What?
Oh, okay,
don't-
okay, what?
okay.
No,
Here's-
hold on. Let her
here's-
explain. Let her explain.
Here's the thing. Unlike all of you guys, you have experience with parody series. I don't have as much experience with it. I have written a parody series, but it's only been one or two. You guys actually have more experience on what you've done. For me, original works are a little bit harder because I actually have to put my time and effort into it. Whereas, with the parody, there's already established characters, just as there are for comic dubs. Comic dubs stem from parodies.
To be
or
fair,
parodies of series.
Log Horizon Abridged was my first time working on a parody series.
One that got off the ground.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I've done parody music lyrics and stuff like that, but I'd never done like legit parody writing for
You
a
have.
series.
Technically-
You have actually, Richie. That was the first time you and I met. You were helping with the Gundam.
No,
Wing
I was just
Bridge.
okay. Me reworking something that is essentially trash and trying not to turn it into a dumpster fire is not the same as and still to this day I go back and look at what I read and got okay, so I made a slightly less dumpster fire. Good. It's still a dumpster fire. I'm not counting that because that was just like how many memes can I throw into this and make it current? So no, I'm not counting that. That was terrible.
All right.
My writing was shit then, and it's just less shit now. Thank you, 900,000 people who watched episode 1 and somehow decided that it wasn't shit. Eh? You
Yeah, I'm
can't
one of
convince me. I can have the entire world sitting there yelling at me that I'm not a shit writer. I will still be confident that I am a shit writer.
I mean, to be fair, you also were in the middle of a competition when you
Yeah.
guys did put the first one out.
Like, I have a story about the competition, like that I would love to discuss, but I'm.
Yeah, we'll do
Yeah.
that after. We'll do that after. We'll do that
Yeah.
later. Yeah. Okay, so I think we've already gotten this one, but who has participated in NaNoWriMo?
What's that?
Okay, that's a no. That's
I have.
I'm with him. What? Please.
No.
National November Writing Month. It's like legit. If you just copy NaNoWriMo how it is here in the question thing and put it into Google, it will tell you who would like to be the one to do that and to just do the definition of NaNoWriMo.
Well, considering it's no longer November.
Yeah.
Yeah, but who has participated? It was past tense.
I have not.
Okay, no one has.
In fact, I've never even heard
No,
of it.
wait. Hey, hang on. Does writing parodies, like in the past, during November count?
It's, I mean, okay,
Sure.
hang on. You don't get to make up the rules, Tony.
I literally
Okay,
did.
it's called National Novel. It's called National Novel Writing Month, NaNoWriMo for short.
So it's not November, is it?
It always takes place in November.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I see what they're doing with this. I mean, it's just to say write a novel in a month and track your progress. I've done that, something similar to that, where
Well-
we did it on fanfiction.net, where you had to write certain pages of a novel, like where you would collaborate with other writers, but never something like
A
that.
lot of other writers that I know that work on NaNoWriMo hate November because it's NaNoWriMo month. Essentially, National Novel Writing Month, or NaNoWriMo for short, is a fun seat-of-your-pants approach to creative writing. On November 1st, participants begin working towards the goal of writing a 50,000-word novel by 11:59 p.m. on
that.
November 30th.
Yeah, no.
Fuck that
Yeah.
noise.
Yeah. So now you understand why it's hell. Like, November for writers who participated in this, they kind of consider it hell. I've been on a writing podcast and done some sound work for a writing podcast, which is how I know about stuff like that. And for those of you that haven't checked into it, NaNoWriMo is a good way. Dude, don't feel bad if you fail. I would say 98% of the people fail at NaNoWriMo because it's just it's like Ninja Warrior for writers.
Oh man.
Yeah. But the thing is like it's a creative experience and you'll learn something from it. And at the same time, I would say check writing prompts, because there's some really good just basic writing prompt stuff out there that will give you fantastic ideas. Case in point, the whole thing about Prouse, to throw something a little towards you, say the whole character of Prouse came from a writing prompt.
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then we developed him further from there, and he became Tiny Tony Stark. Which leads into my next one. Have you found writing prompts to be helpful? And what prompt was your favorite and why, if you use writing prompts?
I've only wrote in the bridging side of things, unfortunately.
Well, I mean, writing prompts can be very helpful for abridging as well.
But,
Yeah.
so, this is a bit of an oldie. Bridge forums dressed in pieces a couple years
Oh,
back.
man.
There used to be
Oh, wow.
challenges where they'd give you a prompt. The one that we entered, which was only literally 2 people. It was us, me, Atlas, and Tony, and Ali Floro. But that was sound related, so that doesn't really count. There was another one that we considered doing, and man, I don't remember the writing prompt.
I don't
But it
either.
was something of this. It was something about like character. Like you had to write, and it had to be super character driven. Like you couldn't like put any like basically you couldn't have the whole wait what joke. You couldn't have memes. You couldn't have references. It had to be character slapstick comedy, right?
To be
I
fair,
really liked that.
to be fair, a lot of writing prompts are laid out like a shower thought would be. Like,
Yeah.
essentially, like, oh my God, what if death wasn't one immortal being? What if death was just a condition that was passed from generation to generation, but not like hereditary? Like, if you killed death, you became death. And what if like there's this whole culture of death all over the world, of all these this secret culture of death stuff, and it's like, oh my God, that's a really cool idea, but doesn't it sound too much like this? Well, how do we make it not seem like this? And it's like, and that's how story building began, and it all started from a shower thought.
Yeah, that's really cool. I mean, they weren't never that deep. It was just more like the only one that I can remember was like write a very character-driven parody, and then it has to be X amount of minutes and submit it to us by this date, and then we'll get back to you.
I think I've written like a lot of mini stories just based on an idea that made me giggle.
But that's about it.
What if death had like an allergy to like this thing, and the person that accidentally was responsible for putting that thing into what he ate killed death, and then they became death, and now they're just like, what the fuck is going on? You know, like that whole idea just seemed funny to me, and I could not quit giggling. It's just like, surprise, you're death. All right.
Yeah, right. I'm not a huge fan of writing prompts.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
if it's something I come up with, that's different. But like if it's someone that comes to me and it's like, they're like, here's your prompt, go. I'm like, fuck you.
Okay, I'm gonna word this question slightly
Well, I'm
differently for
gonna-
9.
I'm just gonna say for me, yes, writing prompts do work at certain times. Not
Yeah.
every single scene is gonna have it. For me, I still use some of my old college prompts, like
Ooh.
what inspires you, who inspires you. If you were to write a story based on someone you know, how would you characterize that as another character? So that's actually where I get like a lot of the inspiration from. Like for Digimon, when I was writing for Sora, I was actually thinking about my cousin
Die.
and my how my cousin was very I'm not gonna lie, my cousin was very sexually active as a middle
Oh
school.
my god!
And,
Not where I thought this story was going.
Yeah, I know. So there's a scene where it's like,
Look at that left turn.
yeah. So there's a scene where it's talking about edible panties. So it's
Die.
something that... Oh no.
Which is just what you want in Digimon, edible panties.
So I mean that scene's in there, but the personality is based off someone I know, and like how would I interpret my cousin to be this character?
I refuse to do the rest of the series, but I would definitely write a scene right now in Digimon Tribe where they're talking about edible panties. That just seems hilarious.
Yeah, like at this point, Digimon's just gonna be my one shot, and then I'm just gonna go straight into
Fuck doing a bridge series. Let's just do
Super
skits
Tier?
based on nonsense. We've been doing it wrong this entire time.
I mean that's how some of the best series start too. I mean it's just nonsense. It's just, I mean a high thought or just thinking about something stupid as you're watching a show, like, oh my god, that lip sync is so bad. What if we made it worse? What if we made it the old Bruce Lee's Japanese syncing? You know,
What if
things
we-
like that.
What if we...
So yeah, I mean, writing prompts can work. It just depends on how you use them. And like I said, I still keep some of my old college prompts. I'm going
Right.
back to school next year, so I'm gonna be trying to balance school and writing, and maybe that'll give me the motivation I need to finally get off my ass and put out a series instead of just doing comic dubs. Which, don't get me wrong, I love doing comic dubs. It's just
Right.
I want to be able to do something, something that people will enjoy, and it's something that not a lot of people know about. I mean, people know the series I'm already talking about. That's gonna be my first baby of the year. That one's like 90% done. It's just
Hold up. Was this the one that I auditioned for?
the you can say it.
Is this the High School of the Dead one?
No.
Okay.
That is number 2. That one's more of a summer skit, just because there's
Okay,
so little episodes.
I gotta cut
so
you.
it's gonna
I gotta cut you off
come out.
there because we're about 15 minutes till, and I gotta
Okay.
let people know to start sending questions in. We've got 2 more quick questions to go through, and then we're gonna take audience questions. So, guys, if you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the chat. Tony, if you could keep an eye on Twitch chat, because I haven't been looking at that. I've been looking at
Oh,
YouTube.
are we actually streaming on Twitch? I didn't.
Yeah,
know we were.
we're streaming on Twitch and YouTube. We're dual streaming.
Did not
I've been
know that.
watching-
We
I've been
always
watching
dual
YouTube.
stream, man.
I've been watching YouTube.
Yeah,
I've
that's
been watching. Nothing's on Twitch.
nothing is on Twitch.
Nope.
No,
Hang on, we should be streaming through Twitch as well. Like I'm going through
No,
Streaming
no,
restream.
through which is just nobody's on.
no.
Oh, okay. Huh. I thought
Sorry.
heart attack. Let me recover. Jesus. All right. So moving on. What is some advice that you would offer to someone who's getting started or is interested in writing, or to reword it, if you could go back and tell yourself something at the beginning of writing, what would you tell yourself?
Stop swearing so much.
Fuck you! I do what I want.
Hey, no, there's been a scientific proof that the more you swear, the smarter you are.
Hell yeah!
But
Yeah,
there's a difference between that and putting too much swearing in your writing.
Yeah. There is.
Look, fuck is a versatile word. That's all I'm saying.
One of the things that I would say to myself would be more swearing, less procrastinating. Just because procrastination is going to be a bitch, not to mention getting character lines on time. That's like
Yeah.
90%.
Procrastination is like the worst enemy for
Something I
writers.
would tell. Sorry, go ahead.
No. Go ahead. I was
So-
just agreeing.
Okay, something I would tell early Yusei is listen to Tony's gut, you asshole.
Okay. Well, fuck you, buddy. Okay, I'm my own man. Okay, I didn't know you like that. And two, I completely agree with Tony with the swearing thing. He perfectly like simplified it into basically this phrase: "It's a spice. Too much of it is bad." And I completely agree with him. I would also say that don't rely on dick jokes as your backup. This is like early. I'm serious, man. This is like early Yusuf. Which was like backup was toilet humor and dick jokes. And now, whenever I look at the dick joke, I'm like, nope. Or it has to be like really, really well written.
This
And it
seems
has to,
like
coincide with the character for it to be, a thing.
this seems like something I should have given myself advice on way back, but also right now, just smoke some pot, see what happens.
You know what?
You know what? That's actually not a bad way.
So,
I was see the advice I would say is as much as like, especially when we first started the series.
Can I clarify real quick why I'm saying that?
Sure.
I have severe ADHD. Pot actually helps me focus.
Okay.
That's why I was like, wow, I wonder what would happen if I'm not like all over the fucking place and I could actually focus on writing. It's curiosity. It would probably go horrible and terrible. It'd be funny to everyone else. It would be like the most embarrassing thing to me, but whatever, Give it
I
a
don't
shot.
personally condone it. I mean, like, I don't care, but like, I wouldn't.
Oh, I'd go to
suggest
jail
what you
so
do.
quick. I'm in the middle of the
No,
South.
what I'm trying to say is that like you shouldn't do it every single time you write, because then you're gonna be like, I only write good stuff when I'm high.
Or maybe I only write bad stuff when I'm high.
But anyways, my favorite story, is I'm not gonna mention who it is because I don't know if they would want their name to be associated with this. But we had a writer who, and Tony might know who this person is. We had a writer who admitted to us later that they smoked pot and wrote a script, and that script, I was like, wow, this is really good. And he's like, I'm gonna be honest with you, man, I was totally high. And I was like, what? Dude, keep doing that. Actually don't, but still, this is awesome.
You know what? Now that I think about some things that have happened in my high school years, I'm like, no, I probably should, because I was so stoned when I took my ACTs and I did really well on them. Like, I didn't know.
YouTube.
I didn't know. I mean, shit, hey, statute of limitations has passed, motherfucker. That was in the 90s.
True.
You can't do nothing, Popo. But now they're thinking I'm talking to Mr. Popo. I'm like, no,
Yeah, no,
he can come after me. He wouldn't.
He took every ounce of self-control not to do a Popo voice.
Popo would just be like, share. God damn it. No, I got back from the military and went to talk to the assistant principal who was my history teacher when I went, and I was like, did I do good? It says I have a 36, and he was like, or it says I have a 33. He goes, yeah, that 33 out of a possible 36. And I'm like, I'm not going to lie to you, dude. I was so hungover and stoned when I took this. I don't even remember taking it. I'm brilliant. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, yeah. Okay. Last question. If you guys haven't finished this one, let me know. Has everybody kind of said what they would want to say to there?
Yeah.
Okay. What are some ways that writing has helped you grow as a person, or just because sometimes what I write can actually slowly alter or make me aware of stuff that I'm doing that I was like, oh, I wasn't aware of that.
This will be hard to believe, but it's made me less of an asshole.
I can be
God, what were you like before?
Well, exactly, right?
He's being really humble. He was not that bad.
I've worked with him.
It has
Once or
it's
twice.
allowed me to connect with more people. I think.
Oh yeah,
That's true.
Networking is definitely going to be the biggest thing. But it's also helping you bounce ideas off of that network as well. Sometimes you try to do everything by yourself and you end up burning yourself. And sometimes you just need an extra hand to help out. Even if it's not someone that you're going to have on your team, I usually have somebody that's not even associated with my team to check over my scripts and things like that. Just because I want an outer perspective. Because if people know exactly what you're doing, they're just going to be looking at this like, okay, this could use improvement, this could use improvement, and it's just going to be nitpicky. But if you have somebody who's outside of either the community or just have an outside perspective, then you could get better as a writer.
Sometimes when you're staring at something for too long, you can't see anything else, so you need a fresh pair of eyes. Yeah.
Get outside your bubble.
Yeah, I think it definitely improves your sense of humor, obviously, as you continue to work on your writing, and that could be from writing dramatic pieces or writing humorous pieces. But for me, I think writing is a good reflection of your personality, and so you can see the people that you mesh well with have similar personalities or personalities that you can play well with. There's some people that are you'll write together and you don't click well, or they're like, I want this joke in, or whatever the case. And that could be a little frustrating, but I think at the same time, writing opens up a lot of doors when it comes to problem solving.
I've definitely made friendships through writing as well. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing that writing's done for me is that I've met so many different people, whether it be writing with them or people like, oh, I've seen your work, I really like it. I'd love to collab with you, or I'd love to, chill with you or whatever. But that's
You say I want to give you a high five when I get to Texas.
Okay. I was expecting a hug, but sure.
I mean, I'll give you a hug, but I don't know what you're comfortable with.
We've hung out before, bro.
Not in person.
Yes, we have at KaiCon.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Well, for all of 5 seconds.
Not real. Well, all right. I mean, it wasn't like I was with you always, but
I wasn't in the same room. Okay. We were
in the same room.
We shared a very awkward high Q panel together.
And then we did the bridge panel together.
Yeah.
We got pied, and I was 5 feet away from you.
Oh my God, bro! You have to clarify. I've been pied multiple now.
I think it was the very first time.
Yeah, I think it was too.
It was the very first time.
It was either Haley or it was Tony's idea, and
the mystery box.
Yeah.
It's been 3 times now. We've done it 3 times.
This is why I'm killing Menu. I'm just killing him so I never get pied again.
And every single time, everyone's like, "Nah, Menu-sama's getting the pie."
God damn it! Why? What did I do to you, jerks?
Everything.
Look, it's not my fault if they're Dave's, okay? I didn't make them Dave's. They did it to themselves.
Sure, we'll go with that.
If you really want to pie the person responsible, I'm afraid you're going to have to break open a casket, because that would technically be Stanley Kubrick. Or you could just pie the guy that played him in that played Kubrick in Epic Rap Battle of History. That'll work too.
Also true.
Also very true. But I are not Stanley Kubrick. Okay, it says we got 9 people watching. I wonder if 5 of us are all watching the YouTube channel.
I to be honest, I have it up. So.
Yeah. Okay, so 5 of us. So we legit have 3 people and no one's asked a question. So I'm just like, okay. What else?
I guess there's no.
There's 4 more minutes. What a day.
Fucking question and answer session. You say top or bottom.
What?
You want me to give the question and then I'll give the answer to it?
Wow, all right. That took. Actually, here's a legit question that I brought it up, but that one shot that the Iron Man, whatever the Iron Budokai Tenkaichi.
Oh, Tiba.
Iron Man,
Tiba.
Tiba.
Yeah.
How? Okay. What do you guys really think of it? Because I know as a writer, it was one of the most stressful times because we basically had to make a script with how close we did it. We found out a week before, but most of us were at a convention. So the week we got back, we had 1 week to write, 1 week to record, 1 week to edit.
I'm so sorry, guys. I know you're going to hate me for this, but episode 1, along with most episodes of Log Horizon Abridged, if I'm being real, the actual writing time is probably somewhere within 1 day.
It does go by pretty quick.
Like I get that inspiration. I get like I've written a quarter of the script for episode 6, and I did that in like a couple hours. Like just, and then I stopped because I'm trying to get like feedback from it and stuff like that. And
Yep, you send it my way. I take a look at it.
and then I'll get that inspiration again, and then like
yeah.
Essentially, I have to convince myself to go back and watch Log Horizon episodes again. I'm like, I don't wanna. I hate this show.
We spent a grand total of maybe 3 days working on the script for episode 1. And the funny thing is, though, is because like I already wanted to do a Log Horizon Bridge. I just lacked an editor. And I remember talking to Danny, and I said, hey,
as it turns out, we got like, 3. Yeah,
and I was like.
We'll talk about that after.
I just really want to do a Log Horizon Abridged. He's like, well, why don't you? Like, I don't have an editor. If I had one, we'd do it. And then like 3 days later, he goes, yeah, okay, I'll be your editor for Log Horizon. I just marathon the whole show, and I really want to do this. And then like, I'm like, all right, cool. So let me start reaching out to some people. I reached out to Richie, and that was later that day. And then like, an hour after we decided to like, yeah, we're gonna do this, the fucking Tiba announcement went live. I'm like, well, fuck, let's do this.
And then Tony's like, hey, why don't we do it for this? And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it was really funny. I got in a call with Tony, and he's like, I was like, bro, fake smiling on you. And he's just like, yep, it's destined to happen, man. So, and it turned out to be awesome. So it worked out really well.
Oh, we actually have a question here.
Oh yay.
Night Raider Gaming. What other abridged things are you guys planning? Stuff that you're okay talking about.
Tony and I have already publicly started working on a one-shot for Mob Psycho 100.
It's been kind of put on the back burner.
It has.
The Gun Gale is actually finally happening for this channel. The final installation of our Sword Art series. That's being edited by Sir Chronoside, which he will start on once he finishes helping with episode 5 of Log Horizon.
Which will be tomorrow night, in fact. Or tomorrow night / Monday morning.
All right. Well, there you go.
Time zones are funny.
And then we have one other secret project that we're working on. It's going to be a 4-episode miniseries. That's all you guys get.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Exactly. And actually you do, but...
I know. Shut up! I'm trying to be funny. Can't wait to audition for that.
Are a liar.
I can't wait to audition for that fiery, wonderful...
Yeah. By the way,
mess.
Eva, I'm going to be approaching you to audition for this miniseries as well.
Oh God.
Full disclosure.
Okay.
Hey, since they actually can't see, I can type what it is.
That's true.
Discord.
That's true, and that's all right. I'm okay with that.
Okay. Oh, go ahead.
So anyone else that wants to answer that question, go for it.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, there's I can't really answer.
That's all right. You say, do you have?
No, I cannot talk about it.
Other stuff
Not.
that I have worked on. If we're able to talk about some past stuff, I mean, half of us on this on Log Horizon Abridged and Fat Dog Studio stuff have worked on a Ruby abridged for Dust to Dust Productions that might actually put up more episodes eventually. I don't know. Things kind of stagnated, and yeah, that's a thing. We're reading. Okay, we're typing way too much to each other. Because everybody
Legend Dub does bring up a question. For those who have written original content, what is the hardest part of writing that original stuff?
Holy shit.
Actually,
that is a good question.
Yeah, I don't know, because like the original stuff that I've written, I have a lot more freedom.
Yeah, well, honestly,
I actually
getting past the writer's block in original content is a lot more difficult, I found, than working with parody work, because like you get up
go back
against
to the
that
source
brick
material
wall, and it's just like, oh.
And you can go back, because, well, you have source material to go back to. You can go back to the well that is the source material when you're parodying something.
And then for original stuff, I would say the hardest part is when you get into a flow and then you hit a point where you're like, oh, now which way do I go with this?
Or you write yourself into a hole.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Another... Oh, kind of do you guys care that much about leaking information? I mean, there's 8 people.
It's up to you. Yes. It is your choice as to whether you want to leak something.
We do, because sometimes it's not our right to announce it.
Just to point it out, you're leaking it to 8 people now? But it might be 100 and something. This might be over 100 and something people later. Is what I'm saying.
Just one person to tweet out, "Hey, so and so is doing Dragon Ball Z abridged Boo arc." Oh,
Team 4-Star is. They confirmed it at the end of the Cell arc. Hell yeah.
No, I mean
spoilers.
Hey, if you haven't seen it, not my problem.
Yeah.
You've had time.
All right.
Also, did you know that Hellsing Ultimate just ended? Yeah. Oh no.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh no.
But yeah, let's go ahead and wrap it up. First off, I want to say thank you to everybody that showed up.
No problem.
Eva, you had something you wanted to say real quick?
No. I was just gonna say, for the stuff that Cody was asking, the hardest part of writing original stuff, I think it's actually trying to get the motivation to write it in the first place. It's not just the writing itself, it's the motivation to be able to write it.
I don't feel like this is truly right without him. So you guys keep doing the outro stuff real quick, and I'm gonna fix the thing.
And but yeah, so to answer your question, that guy.
That guy.
Well, that's his name. It's that guy.
You mean that guy? You mean that guy? That
guy.
guy right here that I just threw into the Discord call for no good reason.
But yeah, no, leaking information. A lot of the stuff that we work on, for example, Yusei works a lot with the schmucks, and so it's not his channel to run. It's not when they say, hey, keep this under wraps, it's not his decision to make.
I can't leak stuff without going through Tony first. Yeah.
And Richie does stuff for the Fat Dog channel, and I run that. So if things are everything that gets posted, well, okay, 90% of things that gets posted is run through me first. So it's like if I say nah, we're not gonna do that, then it doesn't happen. So it can.
I mean, at the end of the day, dude, it's your channel. I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
And also, there's a Cody-chan Sama Senpai-kun.
Oh my
god. What's up, Cody-chan?
Playing Red Dead Redemption 2 and having a great time.
You can have a great time just playing a mega game.
You can't blame me on this one.
I'm not blaming you, Eva.
Thank you.
Play a good game like Spider-Man PS4. Come on.
I already beat that. I need a challenge in my life.
Okay, play the DLC, sir.
Come to Iowa and play Smash Bros with me. I'll give you a challenge.
Just try getting to Iowa. There's your challenge.
I need to try getting out of Vermont first.
Yeah, that's very challenging. Alrighty,
the hard part.
Guys, thank you so much. I want to say thank you to Tony, to Latin Fire VA, the Das Tales, Fell, the VA, and last but not least, our adorable Cody-chan here.
Hi.
Thank you guys so much for coming on and sharing your stories and talking about writing, because it's nothing in our abridged world gets started until writing has begun. Like, we can have all of the editors, all of the content, all of the original stuff, but until we actually sit down and start putting words to script, it hasn't truly begun. And so I just want to emphasize how important writing is, even though editing is very, very important. I'm not saying that
ironically enough, editors are the hardest one to come by.
But writing is very, very important, and it's where everything begins. So thank you for sharing a bit of how your writing process works. Thank you so much. And that is where we're going to end it. for this stream. I will see you guys in a little bit with some Resident Evil 4. Look at Shaggy, man. So, see you guys later. Bye-bye.